Welcome to Sinful's Horror Stories. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe now for future content. If you want to have your story featured on an upcoming video, email your true scary stories to the email in the description box below. Sit back, relax, enjoy, stay sinful. Longtime lurker of this subreddit, and this is my first time posting anything. I've been waiting to share this story ever since I first started reading everyone's stories, so here it goes. This took place when I, 26-year-old female, was about 16 years old. My aunt was in town visiting and we were coming back from the grocery store. We were driving back to my mom's house. She lived way out in the countryside. It's a 10-minute drive from anywhere to get to her house. We pull up to her driveway and a red car pulls in behind us. My aunt and I stay in the car and the man approaches the driver's side door. I can't rightly tell you why he looked like a creep, but he looked like a creep. The man had very pasty skin, eyes that were staring too hard, just overall weird. He claims he is lost and looking for his way to a fitness center in the town next over. The exact fitness center that is about a minute away from where the grocery store is, i.e. in the opposite direction of where we just came from. Super odd, but I give him directions. He thanks me but continues to stare through me. He asks if we know each other, and I reply no. He gives me his name and I again repeat no, I do not know you. Couple of seconds of awkward staring and he asks what my name is. Well, being an idiot and feeling anxious, I told him my name. That was a mistake. He confirms we don't know each other and heads back to his car and we watch him leave. My aunt and I agree he was very strange, but shake it off and take the groceries inside. From where we parked, you have to take a little winding path up between the house to the back door. My aunt goes outside to grab the rest of the groceries, and I settle in on the couch in the living room and look outside. Red car in the driveway. My aunt comes upstairs and said the guy was almost to our door, claimed he forgot his directions. My aunt curtly told him, right, left, right, told him to leave. The directions were truly that simple when following the main roads. I'm freaked, she's freaked, but we never see him again. A month passes and I'm chilling at my dad's and posting something like, I'm bored at my dad's house, who wants to chill on Facebook. Guys, always set your page to private. Several minutes later, I get a message from the same guy asking if I wanted him to come over. I'm home alone and understandably terrified. I immediately block him and tell my dad, who goes to one of his cop friends to see if they know anything about the man. Well, this man was kicked out of a local university for stalking, and had 2 other counts of stalking on top of that, and a restraining order. Another month goes by and I'm in study hall with a friend. He's telling me about this guy who was stalking his older sister. I don't remember the specific details, but it was definitely the story of someone being stalked. The craziest part was this stalker almost drove this girl's brother off the road in an attempt to get him to pull over. Once pulled over, stalker jumped out and was making his way to my friend's vehicle when my friend noped right out of there. I'm sure you guessed it, but the stalker and the creep I ran into were one and the same person. So creepy, pasty stalker man, let's not meet again. Update. Following me posting this, I decided to reach out to my friend whose sister was stalked. He asked if I had heard about last summer. Apparently he was arrested for attempting to kidnap 3 different women inside of 1 hour. Failing on all attempts and almost running over the last woman's father, who was with her at the time, I confirmed it via news article. I'm still pretty floored by it all. This might be a little long, but it still gives me nightmares. I'm a 21-year-old female. I drive from Miami to Daytona Beach near Orlando almost every week. I make sure to fill up before I start off, but this one unfortunate day, I did not. I left Daytona around 12 a.m. driving back to Miami. I drive a black Mustang 40th anniversary. I was literally flooring it back home through I-95. The entire route was empty other than a few trucks and small cars here and there. I was jamming to some good music, not paying attention to what was going on with my own fuel tank. Around 2:30 and 2:45 a.m., the low fuel warning came up. I saw it and started looking for the nearest exit, which happened to be Boynton Beach. I've never been there and had no idea about how the area is. I took the exit and saw that there was a Circle K right off the exit. I was a little relieved because now I at least wouldn't be running out of fuel in the middle of nowhere. Now with barely any fuel left in my tank, I pull up to the gas station. It's totally empty. I cannot even see a single car inside or outside on the road. There were no people other than a tall man in a red-colored jacket walking around near the side of the gas station store where all the parking lot was, but he was not very close to the pump I was at. I was a little scared, but I usually try and shake my fear off by telling myself that it's nothing. This man at this point is looking at the ground, but kind of walking in the general direction of my car. I'm still inside the car contemplating whether I should get out or stay in. Usually I would have just gotten out and fueled, not being scared. But that day something in my gut told me to lock the door and wait inside. At this point, this guy is just a few feet away from my car, still not looking at me. I'm trying to tell myself, it's okay. He doesn't even care that I'm here, and I should just get out. But then my worst fear comes to life. The man looks straight up at me and dashes towards the driver's side door and tries to open it. At this point, it's around 3 a.m. with no other people in the general vicinity. I literally froze for a second and thought, I'm going to die. This is how I die. He pulled on the door handle several times trying to get it to open, but then I somehow got my senses back, turned the car on and floored it. He didn't let go of the door handle until I started the car and hit the gas. I'm so thankful that despite the low fuel, my car still started up and drove away. I had nothing on me to defend myself, nothing at all other than a plastic fork I got from Panda Express earlier. I still can't get over the whole experience. It still scares the living shit out of me. Creepy man from the gas station, let's never meet again. This happened a couple of years ago when I was around 13 or 14 years old. I would go to Nerf wars with my friends during the weekends with a semi-auto rifle and one of those revolver-looking pistols as a sidearm. On one of those occasions, I brought my girlfriend to the Nerf war with me. For some context, my girlfriend's my neighbor. She lives in the same area as I do, and we've known each other for some time, around preschool, I think. As you do for a Nerf war, you pack up spare darts, spare mags, etc. So the Nerf war ended. We had a great time as usual, and we go our separate ways. As me and my girlfriend's walking back home, my paranoia kicks in, and I have a feeling that someone was following us. I glanced back slightly, and there was a guy in all black. At first, I thought of it as one of my friends awkwardly following us, but remembered that none of them were wearing full plain black. I turn back to my girlfriend and tell her we're being followed. She glances back slightly and sees the same man. She starts panicking, so I tell her just to calm down. It's probably just some guy going to the subway as well. So we get on the train, hoping that the man would stop following us. As I'm making sure my rifle isn't bothering anyone, I feel my girlfriend's grip on my hand tighten. Then she whispers, telling me that the man was on the train as well and now staring at us. At this point, I had enough of this guy's shit. I was tired, and the last thing I needed was some dude stalking me and my girlfriend. Luckily, our stop was 2 stations or so away, so when we get there, we bounced out of the cart immediately. I looked back, and the man was indeed behind us. We get up to the streets, hoping that there would be at least someone or some sort of camera that would be able to see me and my girlfriend. But the streets were basically empty, with only a couple of people going back home. My girlfriend was trembling beside me, scared to all hell. I told her my plan, and with some hesitancy, she agreed to it. I stopped moving to take a drink of my water, my girlfriend shifting her hand towards my leg so it wouldn't be as obvious. It was dark at this time. I felt her hand ripped away from my leg and I heard her terrified screams. I decided to grab the closest weapon I had on me, the stock of my Nerf rifle. The stock's attached to Nerf guns with 2 clips latching onto them, so it wouldn't take long to put it on or take it off. My stock was large. It wasn't metal, but it was a solid piece of plastic that could do some damage to someone's face. I whacked the guy around the face, grabbed my girlfriend's hand and got the hell out of there. We waved down the closest taxi, got on inside, happy that we weren't being stalked by some guy. I don't talk about this incident much, but just wanted to share it and get it off my chest. Because of this incident, I stopped playing Nerf for a while. My rifle's been stored in my Nerf armory for a couple of years untouched. Every time I think of Nerf, this incident comes to mind. I went to the police station a few days ago to put down a complaint about some person who scammed me when I was trying to get a graphics card. A guy who seemed nice overheard the conversation and proposed me to come over, as he spares electronic equipment that he doesn't use anymore. The man said that he could help, saying that if it could help someone else, he'd be glad to give it out now. Now, I didn't really put any hope into it, as it was unlikely that I would finish something interesting, but I took up the offer. He didn't have that fishy person aura, so I accepted coming over in a few days. I wouldn't show up alone though, just in case. A few days after, I go to this man's house with my brother. First, the guy's not wearing a mask and tries to handshake me. There is an old person in the background of the home watching us with beer in hand. I can see from here that the yard is a complete mess with things everywhere. He guides us inside. We take a look around, and then he starts pulling stuff out of a bag, and it's like a 15 to 20-year-old graphics card that are completely worthless. I told him it wasn't going to work. It's too old. He tells us to follow him to the garage, which is even more of a mess than the yard. Things laying everywhere, and there's a very dirty pool, not even covered although we're still in winter. He shows us one of those first-generation graphics card, old and bulky. I tell him it's not going to work either, and he takes us to a shed behind the house with even more things. It's a shady place in a weird alley, and I freaked out a little because the older person who hadn't said a single word was following us. He rumbles through his shed, telling me that the card he intended to give me was somewhere, but he couldn't find it. Too bad. I prepare to go away, but then he asks me if we could look at a PC that doesn't boot. I accept and go inside the room, which is apparently the kids' room, and it's messy as every other room. I approach the computer and it's missing keys, and it's dirty everywhere. I sit down with my brother, start fiddling with the computer. The grandpa appears out of nowhere and sits behind my brother, which kind of freaks me out by the way he looks at us. I'm trying to fix the PC when the mother comes in and tells me she doesn't know much about computers, but that she goes on the dark web. She asks me if I can check every device in the house to make sure they haven't been pirated and that she's being spied on. At that point, I look at my brother, confused, and we kind of mentally communicate. Yeah, we need to get out of here. It's starting to get weird. I tell the guy that I can't seem to fix it and that it's above what I know, and he's okay with it. The old man lights up a cigarette in the room and we get out of here. The guy keeps us and talks for like 5 more minutes. They seem like they wanted us to stay. We tell them we have a bus to catch and kind of walk quickly out of there. The mother stops us and asks if we're going to come back to inspect their devices, and I just say that we'll contact them again. After that, I panicked and blocked the number when I got out of there. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe for future content. Email your true scary stories to the email in the description box below. Till we meet again, stay sinful.